we can't talk until we start recording because then we'll start to talk about
Igual
things.
nosotros. Igual nosotros con los artistas, como Gerardo Coronel, el Jerry. That guy's so intellectual. Le encanta leer. And he's just like, his talks are very deep and poetic.
Yeah.
Y luego, ¿quién más?
Doesn't it trip you out sometimes where you like don't expect that from certain people?
Sí.
And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
No, pero ¿sabes qué? Bueno, mejor me callo.
What's up, guys? My name is Mario.
My name is Silvia.
My name's Bao.
Welcome back to another Vive con Huevos podcast. And guys, today is our first guest of the year.
Yes.
I'm very excited because not only is this our first guest of the year, but she is someone that has seen me and Bao at least through many seasons of our lives. Our very good friend, Zayda, is in the building. Guys, we gracias so much. Thank you so much for joining us today.
De nada, aquí somos pochos and proud.
We are.
Siempre he
yeah.
dicho. Aquí mezclamos.
In the Vive con Huevos podcast, we do talk a lot about creating your own lane, being in your, being true to your voice and what you really want to do, being passionate about your life and the things that you create and want to do and following your passion project. Mm-hmm. And I believe very firmly that you are someone who truly lives by that. And I'm very excited to talk to you today because, like I just said, all three of us, except for Celia, sorry, we've seen, okay. we basically kind of grew up together because we met when we were in our early 20s, I think.
Yes, I feel like the person you guys met is not even the one present right now today.
Oh, yeah, no,
like,
100%.
Completely different, just like in all aspects. But that's the part of life, that's the journey of how you actually watch people grow. And at the end of the day, it's like, wow, you kind of admire and you're like, props to you for getting to where you're at, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think it hits differently when you actually see somebody that you've known for so long actually achieve the goals that they set out for themselves and do really good things for their lives. So a lot of the time you're around people who you feel kind of hate on your growth, but you also come around a lot of people in your lives that are like, I'm proud of what you've done and you've accomplished. And we've talked about this in prior podcasts before where sometimes you feel like you outgrow people and you kind of have that guilt of outgrowing them. There's no other way of putting it. But then you also have the people that like see you outgrowing you or it kind of pushes you to like do better for yourself, right?
I think relationships have seasons.
Yeah.
And I think you tend to know that as you get older. I think in the beginning you get super attached with like friendships, any type of relationships really, whether it be romantically or friendships. You're like consumed. We're like, we're here till forever. Yeah. But what you don't realize is sometimes your growth is much more different than the other person. Sometimes theirs is a little bit more delayed, or sometimes they never want to grow up and you're just adapting and changing and you're evolving and so are they. So it gets to a point where you guys, the route is just two different ways. And I've learned with certain relationships and friendships, it's not a goodbye. It's simply saying like, hey, we're not at the same place we used to we were at, but like, the door's always open to like have that conversation, to like reconnect or just talk again. But I think it gets to a point where like, if you see yourself in a certain way with career, like your partner, whatever you want for your life, sometimes you have to leave certain things behind, but that doesn't mean they're like gone completely.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you've really lived to the expectations of the Vive con Huevos brand because you really did just up and leave.
I did.
Yeah, you were
multiple times.
Yeah, you just up and left, and you just grabbed life by the horns and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just go this way."
Yeah,
you're someone who has created their own lane in media and radio and in your own life. But for the people who don't know who Zayda is, let's give them a little bit more of a background.
Yes. So you guys who listen to like regional Mexican music, you will know me because if you listen to like Que Buenas or all around the U.S., I'm in a show called El Freeway Show. Yo soy Zayda, la producer, so I'm their senior producer, but I'm also a talent with the guys. So like we get seen on Univision. If you have VIX, we also have a podcast now that's streaming and it's called Iguales pero Diferentes. So you'll definitely see me on social media with the Freeway Show, which is a part of Univision.
Was radio always your plan A?
No. You know what? ¿Sabes qué? Vi la película The Devil Wears Prada. Of course. Yeah. Every girl does. Y yo había dicho, I want to be like a fashion editor. I want to be her. Like, I want to be like, that's all. Like that, like Meryl Streep, like that's all, like live the fashion life, travel to Milan, to Paris, whatever, And that was the goal. I wanted to be a writer. I was very good at it at the time. But after I graduated from High Tech High and I got into community college, I actually did get accepted to Cal State in Northridge, but I declined because I wasn't ready to leave the nest. I was still very homesick and still unaware of what I truly wanted. So I felt like me leaving home wasn't the right idea or like priority for me at the time, which I'm grateful for that because I think that was a good decision. So I ended up staying and I went to Southwestern College. And so from watching Devil Wears Prada, I was like, I want to be a fashion editor. So I got into the college newspaper, started writing articles, like I wanted to be a writer. Quickly realized I was like, no, this is boring. Like I kind of saw how like things were starting to develop and evolve with social media. And I was like, I have a feeling this is not going to be around. And the one thing that I did not like about like news writing or anything of that sort was that they would hunt you, like you had to really get the story and you would build relationships with people and then break them to get a good story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't like the ethical part of it. So I was like, nah, this is not my calling. I was good at writing, but it wasn't for me. So then I was like, okay, the only way I'm really going to know what I truly want to do, I knew I wanted to do like media communications, was to do internships. So I did the internship for a magazine like writer. It was cool, but it just wasn't what I pictured it. And at the time I was more in the party like scene. Yeah. I wanted to party a little more. So I was like that age and dije, no, mejor no. So I technically got let go from that internship. Then I was like, what if I'm like in front of the camera? I think that could be like a cool thing, like the rundown y toda la cosa. So I was like, okay. So I started taking classes in LA. No, I was not like, I was super self-conscious of myself. I was just very insecure. Dije, estoy fea para la cámara. I was like, no, era durante ese tiempo donde like, eran Barbies. Veías puras Barbies. You had to be thin. You had to be all that. And I'm like, what is a Latina going to be doing there who's pocha and like all this stuff? But like now, like it's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
So at the time I was like, it was a great experience, pero it just wasn't my time. But I learned from that. And so it came to the point where I was like, should I do like film? I was kind of lost, And it wasn't until I remember I went to a J. Cole, Big Sean concert. And a lot of people throughout my life had been telling me like, me encanta tu voz. Like your voice is so sexy. Like it's so good. Like I think you have a radio voice. You should do radio. And I forgot to mention, going a little bit back, in High Tech High, I had to do an internship. And because I wanted to do media, I had done an internship with Univision. And so like it's funny how like the full circle comes back because at the time I had said like I wanted to do film and magazine writing, and I wasn't really into audio or like radio, so I wasn't really that all into it, but I liked the fact that it was still Univision, it was still a media company. So then coming back to like the J. Cole concert and Big Sean, I was like, I don't know, should I do radio? I don't know. So I was like, I really want to try a hip hop station, and the biggest ones in San Diego was either Channel 933 or Z90. So I show up, which actually no one knows about this part. This is like the unfiltered one. So I went with my best friend at the time. We parked at the amphitheater. We had stopped at the liquor store first. We bought like a tiny bottle of like a vodka bottle, right? So we're like, okay, we're going to chug this before getting into the J. Cole concert. So we're like vibing. So we chug it in the car, walk to the venue. And then all of a sudden I see this giant like Z90 tent. And I tell my friend, I was like, oh my God, I want to do an internship at Z90. And I was like, but I'm already kind of buzzed. I was like, I don't think mixing alcohol and like talking to them is a mix. So I was like, maybe I should just wait. And she's like, no, girl, you go do it now.
That's
She's
your
like, I got
chance.
you. Yeah, she's like, you're going to do it right now. I'm going to talk to them and distract them while you actually talk and get a phone number or something. So I was like, remember, I'm like, I'm already in the midst of feeling myself. I'm at the J. Cole concert. There's like weed going around everywhere, just like, all this stuff. And I was like, how am I going to keep it together? Like, they're probably going to be like, this girl smells like alcohol. So I told my friend, I was like, güey, ¿huele alcohol? O no, estoy bien. Y dice, no, estás bien. And I was like, she's
As
not.
she smells too.
And she smells too. That was like the worst. Yeah. So this is the unfiltered one. The other version, I'll be like, yeah, I got an internship and everything went smooth. That's a lie. So, so like, yo me acuerdo at the time they had the big all heads of like the artists, right? So my friend's over here chit chatting with the person, and I see this one girl. It's like, hey, like, I'm actually interested in doing an internship, not getting a job, because if you start with a job, you're not gonna get like even anything. So I told the girls like, hey, how do you get an internship here? She's like, oh, you just send your resume, send an email to like this person, and that's it. And I was like, do you mind if I get like, I didn't even ask for her phone number because I feel people get weird with that. So I was like, can I have your email? Simple. Always ask for the email. You'll always get far from email now or social media. At the time, social media wasn't that big.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, can I get an email? And she's like, yeah, of course. And you can get like my boss's info too. I was like, can I get his email? And so she's like telling me, and I'm like, crap, I'm buzzed and I'm typing. So I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want to get this wrong. And I feel like I am. I'm terrible with like getting the context. I gave the phone to her and I was like, can you put it in? Low-key knowing that I knew I was drunk already. So she puts it in. She's like, yeah. She's like, okay, perfect. I'm going to send an email on Monday. You will see an email on Monday. And like I reaffirmed it. And I was like, I'm going to be here. Watch. So then we had fun at the concert y toda la cosa. Come by Sunday night, I checked my phone and I had the email and I was like, send in my resume. I send like a professional email, bien acá,
Before
And-
ChatGPT.
Yeah, we
Had
didn't
to
have,
write your own
I-
Yeah, you had to
I
write
had
your
to-
own email. Yeah.
I think I Googled it. I might have Googled it. At the time, ChatGPT for me was Google. So I was like, how do I write a professional email when you're looking for an internship? And I looked at the images and like, how they, And so I had to read
to
that.
be alive.
Exactly. Los niños, los chamacos
saben.
ahora no saben
saben,
nada.
they
I'm
don't
like,
know.
No, it's
wait,
way
yeah,
too
it's
easy
even
now.
more easy now. So like I sent him his Nick Smith. That's the guy. I don't know if he works there, but if not, thanks, Nick. He started it.
Shout out, Nick.
Shout out to Mr. Smith, Nick Smith. EC, like I send in my stuff and he's like, yeah, you can get points or credits for the internship. And I started at Z9091X and Magic as a promotionals tech. I did an internship there. That's where I kind of officially got started. Once that like you did for like I think 4 months, which was like a half a semester. And then afterwards I applied for a position part-time while I went to community college, and I was actually working at a radio station. So I kind of had the plus of already working in the field that I wanted and then doing my credits. In radio, you technically don't need a degree. You can just kind of work your way up and just get reference and people, you get to know people. It's all about who you know in the industry, which is very, very true. And so that's how I kind of got started with like radio. So then once I realized, okay, radio's my calling, this is what I want to do. I remember I became really good friends with Rick Morton, which shout out to
He's so
Rick.
cool.
I
Yeah.
freaking love.
I
Rick.
love Rick. If you guys want to have him on, I got you.
We met.
yeah.
You met him?
We met him like a few years ago. We have a podcast pending with him. His voice is just so iconic.
Yeah.
Tell Rick I said hi.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Z, yeah.
Yeah.
We know each other.
Yeah, no,
Rick,
we love that
D-Rock,
guy,
and
yeah.
Adina, they're
Yeah.
like, they're my people. He really introduced me. I told him, I was like, hey, I really want to do
I
this.
feel like they're like the pioneers in San Diego.
Yeah.
It's like you don't hear anybody else's voice.
Yeah.
In San Diego.
And
When you think,
he'll tell you all the stories too.
yeah,
He's
when you think
super-
of radio in San Diego, that's all I think about is Dina. No,
D-Rock.
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 D-Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Rick
Rick.
Morton.
and of course Rick Morton.
Rick's-
Rick Morton in the Mortons.
Yeah,
In the
he-
mornings.
In the morning.
If you want to be in radio, a lot of people just go for like, I just want to be a talent on air. Okay, that's great. Some people just have it. But if you really want to get to that part, be a producer first.
Yeah.
Get to know behind the scenes. Get to know everything that everybody else does. Follow the sales. Like I also like shadowed Javier the X-Man for Magic. Like try to get to do everything that everybody does so that you really know what it is you truly want to do, because you may go for one thing, but then turns out you're really good at something else. So Rick really showed me how to, he let me be on the morning show and kind of shadow them. So I would wake up super early just to go with him and then have my shift. And then so I would like produce. I would like learn how to edit from D-Rock because he was the producer at the time. I would see how the dynamic was on air. The like some people pre-record. He did everything live. So you really get a feel of what radio is. Now it's different because they have the cameras involved. Now you're not just like talking. You're actually like the figure. You're actually on TV. So las cosas han cambiado like super. So ya que estuve allí, podía haber como que subido, quedadome allí, pero I really wanted a degree. So I looked up the best schools around the U.S. that offered a bachelor's degree in radio, and I found that Columbia College in Chicago offered it. So I left my part-time job that I could have just worked my way up to go to Chicago to get a bachelor's degree in radio. And so that was the next move. And I had to leave, say bye to everybody, and like never moved out of my parents' house. I was already of age. I was like 23, 24, cuando ya dije, okay, yeah. Time to leave the nest.
It's fine. Some people are like 30 and still haven't left, so you're good.
Yeah, I know. There's one living in my house. I'm not going to say that, but we all know who it is. My sister. She's going to be so mad. But she left and she came back. But it happens. Pero sí, haz de cuenta, like, dejé todo y dije, chin, a lo mejor no me voy a regresar a esto, ya va a ser otra cosa. So ya, like, never lived without my parents, like in a whole different city and state. Can't drive, like a plane, literally 5 hours away in a plane ride. Like don't know anybody. So I left everything I knew to pursue this career in radio to get a bachelor's degree. And that was actually the best move I ever made. Because although Chicago was like super hard in the beginning, they always say the first year is the hardest, which is true. And that's why you have to have people like good friends. And I literally had a conversation with my best friend and I told her, I was like, listen, Vero, you guys know her too. I was like, if at any moment I want to give up, I give you permission to slap me and be like, you suck it up and you stay. Because I know there's going to come a moment where I'm going to be like, ya me quiero regresar, ya no quiero estar ahí. And I told her, I was like, remind me that I need to stay and what I'm working my ass for. She's like, okay. So, because I did have that moment.
Is Vero the one that pushed you into the Z90 booth?
No, that was Ilex.
Okay. Somebody else. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Ilex, like those were my go-to people to like really push me to like stay in my career because they knew how much I really wanted it. And like till this day, they're my ride or die friends for sure. They're the ones who, like I always say, it's important to have that group of friends that like are your ride or die, and that no matter how like hard life gets, they push you to be like, remember what you told me. You really want this. I know you. So like that's kind of like how I went down in Chicago. Because the first year, what a lot of people don't know is like, here I am trying to, this was one of the hardest things that I ever had to deal with. So before I left to Chicago, I had nodules on my vocal cords. Oh, wow. So if I would talk, like let's say on the weekend, I would go out. By Monday morning, my voice was like this.
Yeah. Those are serious. They can get
Those
crazy.
are serious things. Yeah. So I am starting to live in a new state, new city, no friends who I know, new everything. I'm out of my comfort zone, and then having like a medical issue where I can't even do what I want to do, which is talk. It was super hard on me because I had to have surgery for that to be removed for me to have the voice.
And it changes your voice.
It does, and it does change your voice.
Yeah.
Thank God it got sexier.
Not the iconic voice. Not the iconic voice.
But at the time, it was very stressful because I'm like, I couldn't overdo it because if not, I would lose it and I would damage it more. So I was like that for a year. So I'm taking all these classes for radio. Y like, había un momento donde dije, chingado, ¿cómo le voy a hacer? Like, vine para seguir mi sueño y ni puedo ni hablar, que es lo que más te necesito. So I was like, I remember I had a conversation with one of the professors who I did not agree with what he said, but I was like, what do I do? Like, because he made me do an assignment where I had to use my voice. And I was like, can I record somebody else? It's still my project, but I can record somebody else. He's like, no, you have to do yourself. And I was like, but my voice is not cooperating with me. Like, it's not that I'm complaining or I want like,
Doctor's note.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, what if I can't do this? Like, what if I can't even speak? He's like, well, then maybe choose a different career. I was pissed. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going to pick another career. So that kind of gave me like more like it fueled me, like
Yeah,
added
fuel
more
to
fuel
the
to the
fire.
fire. And I'm already a Sagittarian, so I was like, it added more fire to me.
Yes.
Out to prove them wrong.
I did.
Yeah.
So like, ya después de un año, ya por fin regresé a San Diego. I got the surgery and like, it was like so much better after that. Ya por fin mi voz se recuperó. But for that first year, it was like a huge struggle. And that's why I told my friend, I was like, I just need to leave. I should have never left. I should just come back. And they're like, no, you stay, suck it up. You're going to be fine. You see, like I did like 3 years there, did a lot more internships. Internships are the way to go if you want to make it in this industry because it's really about who you know. So I did an internship with Cumulus Media. I did an internship at like Cal State Northridge with the alternative rock station. I did La Ley. And this career counselor really guided me. And he's like, you're bilingual. He's like, take that to your advantage. Go into the Spanish market. And I was like, no, soy 100% pocha. Like, it was worse than what it is today. It was really bad. I was like, no, I want to do like English radio. He's like, no, do Spanish. And I was like, I really don't want to do Spanish. He's like, you're bilingual. Trust me, you're going to go further up more if you do Spanish than you do English. Y pues tal de que hice un internship con La Ley y pues ahí aprendí un poco más con el español, hice varias cosas diferentes y haz de cuenta, like, por eso me ayudó mucho a agarrar la posición que ahora tengo con Univision. But it was also because of who I knew at the end too.
Yeah.
So once I graduated, no one ever talks about like how hard it is after you graduate and get like the degree. Most people think like, oh, it's like smooth sailing. You have a job set in stone, right? You would think that's the case. No, I didn't. It took me another year to actually get another job and I had to go back to what I used to be doing. So mind you, I started in promotions, which is like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to like the categories of radio positions. So entonces I had a degree. I had left a part-time position in street promotions. So then I did all this to go back to San Diego and do the exact same thing I left, pero con Univision, with a different company. And I was like, chingado. I was like, ¿cómo le vamos a hacer? Dije, bueno, pues por lo menos ya tengo la experiencia. Ya tengo mucha producción. Like I specialize so much in audio production to the point where my counselor was like, dude, you've like dominated everything you need to know. And another thing people should know is like, it's a male-dominated world, especially with producing. There's not a lot of girls. I remember I did a lot of internships, and they came to a point where I was the only girl in there too. Wow. It was just me and another girl, and then even I think it's a lot bigger now. Thankfully, I feel like I've seen a lot more women, which I love that. I want more girls in that field too. I think it's very important for the girls to know how to produce, how to do everything, so that when the time comes and they're like, "Hey, we need this," you're like, "I already got it. I know how to do it." So like. I dominated that to the point where I was like, I could do any production, any social media you want. Like, I got this. So ya regresando a la posición part-time, era así de que, pues, ok, es lo mismo, pero es diferente porque la experiencia que ya tengo ya es más. So ya me puedo elevar un poquito más. Entonces, once you're in the company, it's good to just make friends with everybody, do a good job, like go like over like above and beyond and try to just always be helpful in things. Y así es como empiezas a conectarte con más gente. They start recognizing you. Y poco a poquito, cuando una posición abre, ya aplicas y agarras. Y ahí es cuando y ahí es cuando apliqué para Creative Services Producer in Phoenix. And I got the job, which was during that time, the pandemic. So that's when so then I was back in San Diego living there. And then I got the job opportunity in Phoenix. I went ahead and went for it. But this time around, it had nothing to really do with radio. It was more marketing and producing and editing. Thankfully, the GM at the time really helped me out, and I was able to do a segment called Cuéntamelo, which was like a minute segment that actually got sold. Or was it a minute? I think it was a minute. It was like, 10 seconds in the intro, 10 seconds in the outro, and then the rest was whatever the segment one was, which was like a chisme thing. So that was sold in Univision. There's 3 very important like radio stations, and the styles are regional Mexican music, which is La Que Buena. There's Amor, which is alternative pop. And then there's reggaeton Latino mix, which is like the reggaeton Latino salsa, bachata. It could be all that. But I feel like regional has gone into like all 3 of them now, just because of the world of music.
So many collabs have happened, like,
so many.
Like Grupo Frontera and Bad Bunny.
No,
like that,
siguen. La mera verdad, yo estaba al inicio cuando we'll get to that part, pero yo hablé con un Grupo Frontera. Yo hablé con ellos cuando ellos ya habían nacido en ese collab con Bad Bunny y estaban platicando con nosotros cuando iban a irse a Coachella. O iban a estar en Coachella por lo de Bad Bunny o algo así. Era un show, pero we'll get to that later. Pero so then like in Phoenix, I was able to kind of dap into like the radio, and I realized that's what I truly wanted to do. Phoenix was like, I feel like it's what it's called. It's the bird that like
that catches fire.
It catches fire and then it's like reborn.
It's reborn. Yeah.
That was literally.
We just watched Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
I know that. That's exactly what Phoenix did to me, and the literal meaning. I felt like that was one of my lowest emotionally. I just wasn't like I had gone through a breakup. I was dealing with like depression and anxiety at the time too. I was in a work environment that I wasn't truly happy with. And I probably can't get into it, but it's just like the environment wasn't healthy for me mentally, and it was starting to affect me so much to the point where I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to leave. I was actually, because of how bad I got, I was literally months away to just being like, I'm done. I'm packing my things and leaving, going back home. I'm going to figure things out. But at the time, I had applied for 2 positions within the company before I left. And one of them was a radio talent in LA. And then the other one was singer producer for a radio show that I wasn't too aware about. Like, I had an idea of who it was, but it didn't say what show.
Yeah.
So I applied to both. I did my interviews. I felt like I did great in the LA one, not so great in the other one. But then when I ended up getting, like, I talked to HR. No. How did it go down? So I really wanted the LA one. That was the one I really, really wanted. I was like, I'm going to go back to California. Like, this is it. I'm going to do what I wanted to do. Like, be a radio talent. Like, it's going to happen. But then the person who interviewed me is like, hey, we gave somebody else the job. And then HR tells me like, hey, like we have to do a phone call. And in my head, I was like, I already know. She's going to tell me I didn't get the job. So when I talked to HR, she's like, you got the job. And I'm like,
no, I didn't.
what job? Like, ¿cuál? The LA job I didn't, because they told me I got the senior producer job. They're like, you got the senior producer job. And I was like, shut up. Like, obviously I didn't say that to her, but in my head, I was like, literally like, shut up. Like, God, like, I think at one point I was like, ¿Estás jugando conmigo, verdad? And she's like, no, you got the job. Oh. And I'm like, really?
Still in disbelief.
Super in disbelief. And I was like, pero con quién? Like, who's the job? Turns out it was Freeway. So Freeway, there's been a lot of modifications with the show. It was El Freeway con la Bronca, pero they let her go. So then it was a new edition of the Freeway show. Entonces they had Pancho, who used to be in an Amor show called Chula y Bestia con Maria Esther. And he left that to go to El Freeway show. And then Morris, which it's such a small community in like radio. You already know who you're already working with. And that's why people say like, never burn bridges with people because you never know where you're going to end up with. Morris I met in San Diego because he was a producer for the morning show Bueno, la Mala y el Feo. So then Morris left his producer job to be a talent, which is what he wanted. And then here I come into the mix. So it's like they just juntaron gente esperando que funcionara y funcionó. So ahí está Pancho del Rancho, Morris de Aguascalientes, que es el fregón, pero he es el fregón, pero fresón, de Aguascalientes, pero está casado con una sinaloense que es de Mazatlán, y le decimos que es el británico de Britania, porque él se dice, se cree la realeza, es como el chiste, ¿no? Y luego ahí viene la pocha de San Diego, like mexicana-americana con papás mexicanos, pero super bocha de San Diego, you know? So it's like the mix doesn't
That's what I love about like Spanish radio is like the nicknames are just so freaking
so
crazy.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y es like, nunca hubiéramos pensado que hubiera funcionado. Originalmente yo era just a senior producer. I wasn't technically supposed to be a talent. I was just supposed to like help them out, be their producer, be in charge of whenever they have interviews, they have commercials they need to do, get the show prep ready, get the callers, get everything we need for the show for it to run smoothly. And then all of a sudden they needed a female voice because the show does better if there's a female involved. And little by little, it's created what it is to be known now that most people know. Es el Freeway Show. Y siempre les digo, esta es la cura del show. Es que uno me salió free y el otro me salió güey. So Pancho me salió free y el Morris me salió güey. Y es una cura. So like that's really what it is. So like I would have never thought in a million years like going into radio that I would end up in Spanish because that was never what I wanted. I wanted hip hop. I wanted like Latino like vibes. I wanted to only speak English. And like if it wasn't for that counselor saying like, no, you go in Spanish radio, I would have never ended up in a Freeway show. And like it's just funny how things just work out and like how it kind of brought me into where I'm at today with the show. And at the time, like how I said, like radio's changed so much. I feel like it's not just radio, it's TV now. It's visual, it's social media, it's YouTube, it's streaming live. Like it's much more pressure. Now it's not just like a voice, it's not a pretty face. It's a bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say though too is like when you first started, the being pocho or like the quote unquote like no sabo wasn't as embraced as it is now. Like now that has like boomed into like its own kind of like subculture in a way, and like so it's a lot more approachable. It's a lot more accepted in our environment and our culture to be a little bit more not understanding of like how to speak Spanish, you know. It's a little bit more embracing versus before it was like you would just make fun of and you were like get picked at, and especially in Spanish radio where it's like the demographic is like, you know, I'm in blue collar, so I listen to the radio all freaking day. So it's like, of course I'm listening to like 106.5, and like at the time when I was a lot younger, that Spanish was like real like machista Spanish, you know. It was a lot. It wasn't as embracing.
Con doble sentido siempre.
Sí.
Y yo bien inocente, I was like, ¿de qué estás hablando? Like, y hasta me han dicho, they're like, ay, Zaydita, estás bien inocente. I was like, pero ya me están convirtiendo, ¿no? Like, ya le estoy entendiendo el doble sentido. I was like, jaja, ya les entendí.
De mí no van a estar hablando.
No me estén diciendo cosas porque yo se los regreso. Pero es una cura. Pero like, it's changed a lot. You know what? I remember being in like Z90 and it was a lot of, you know, pop music, a lot of hip hop. And I remember having this conversation with Rick and I was like, Rick, why don't you guys mix like a little bit of Latino, like reggaeton? And he's like, because I said, you're right next to the border. It makes sense for San Diego to do so. Yeah. And he's like, no, he's like, as much as I would love to, it's just not it. 2 years later, guess which song showed up, and it was J Balvin con Justin Bieber. And then all of a sudden it was Bad Bunny, to the point where like the next time I was driving in San Diego, full song in Spanish, heard on an English radio station. And I remember saying, it should be Spanish. Like, you should incorporate Spanish. Y ahora, you listen to the radio English, it's the whole song's in Spanish because it's Bad Bunny, Rosalía, Karol G. Ya no es inglés. Ya la gente lo convirtió, y les digo eso, se ha convertido en un trend, pero un trend que ya se convirtió en un lifestyle y ya es bien normal. Por eso ha funcionado.
Well, the collabs have been like so crazy. I mean, we had Drake with Bad Bunny.
Yes.
And then we had, again, Bad Bunny with Natael Cano. And they had the El Diablo. And then we had Grupo Frontera, which is a little bit more cumbia with Bad Bunny's everywhere. Fuck.
Bad Bunny. But see, like, when a lot of people don't know is Bad Bunny got to start with collabs. That's how he got his name to.
También.
Sí, porque ya by the time he did all these collabs, everybody just wanted the album. So when he finally got that out, it like he was already going up. So with any upcoming artist, it's always important to do like just collab, porque nunca sabes con quién. Like, for example, mira Rosalía con Bjork y lo haciendo opera. Like, who would have thought that freaking opera would have like worked with something and it'd be radio and live stream, you know? But it's just like the trends that happen, and we kind of see it we get to see a little bits and pieces like the people in the radio because we work so close with their managers, with the artists. We have showcases every year where the artists come and show what they're gonna be doing. So like, for example, Javi, yo lo conocí cuando el muchacho apenas empezó. Él empezó gratis abriendo for free for a private event for CNCO. Wow. Yo trabajé con él. El chamaquillo, pues, era un chamaquillo. Like,
he's really young, ¿no?
Pero tenía pegue con las morras. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, yeah, no, I can say, like, él fumando mota ahí adentro del baño de Univision y me están diciendo, güey, dile que no haga eso. Y yo sé como que, por favor, Javi, no hagas eso.
Mr. Javi.
but like, Javi started in Arizona, you know, doing free shows, and he had something. He just had that connection, that vibe with the people. I remember, like, he brought his guitar, and this was when nobody knew him. He was like singing in front of Univision, like doing like his just
doing
tocando su guitarra. Y mira dónde está ahora. Sí. Like, es que nunca sabes dónde van a estar. Like, hemos visto a artistas entrar y convertirse en algo súper
Who did Fuerza Regida pick up right here at the border?
¿Quién era? ¿Clave Especial?
I think so.
Clave Especial.
They were singing at the border. Sí.
Ese, ¿no?
I think so.
Es un muchacho bien alto, like.
I could be wrong. I could be butchering the story, but I think it was Fuerza Regida.
No,
or
Chino Pacas. Was it Chino?
It was somebody. I just remember seeing the San Isidro border or la de Padequino, and they were picking up one of the singers, un guitarrista que estaba cantando en la línea, and I'm pretty sure it was J.O.P., but I could completely be wrong.
We would have to double check that. Yeah. We have to Google it.
Producer.
I know.
ChatGPT.
Charlie.
But I do want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, I feel like media is so misunderstood when it comes down to our parents. I grew up in a very traditional household. And when I told them, hey, I'm going to start this podcast, this is what it's going to... To this day, my parents have no idea what the hell this podcast is. They listen to it, they love it.
But they don't understand.
Pero no entienden.
Sí.
You know? And when I tell them, it's like, hey, we could actually make this into a career if I keep pushing it, if we keep, like, whatever, right?
Yeah, sponsors and everything.
Total, I kind of explain it to them, pero todavía como que no captan. So in the way I kind of say it is, like, right now we're signed with the channel Sonoro, which is kind of like Univision, right? And we're like their sub kind of channels. So I would kind of explain it in the way of radio. But anyways, tangent. Was it kind of the same for you, like with radio and media and like your house dynamic and you growing up? What did your parents want for you?
I think, well, everybody thought I was going to be a nurse or do something because my mom was a nurse. Mm-hmm. And then my dad has his own company, or they thought I was going to take over the company. But they kind of already, like, thankfully, I've had parents who were very supportive of my career and what I wanted. And they kind of knew that I would be wanting to do media just because I got super focused on making those connections. I would like knock on so many doors. I did so many internships. There were a lot of times where I did part-time social media just to like make ends meet with money. I would just offer things for free. So I was like hustling so much to be in that world, to the point where like they recognized that's what I want it to be. Now that I'm actually in there, they're very protective of me. And sometimes I have to be like, ama, apa, no me escuchen ni me vean. No, 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 no. Like, cuando sean los momentos de que pueda hacerles cosas, sí, como, I think one moment that was very special for me was like, at the time I was like, I'm not at the part where I can like buy them a house or like a really nice car, pero I can give them opportunities where I got them VIP tickets to see Los Angeles Azules front row, and my dad actually met the lead singer
No way.
and had a conversation. And so like that for me, them seeing Los Angeles Azules and just having that opportunity to give them that kind of thing was like a really cool opportunity. Or I have moments where, like, for example, yo desde chiquita escuchaba Maná, ¿verdad? Y la hora de repente, oh, tienes una entrevista con Fer, con Alex, y de repente para que ellos te digan, oye, si Zayda y que no sé qué tanto, you're like, the fuck? Like,
They know my name.
they fucking know my name. Like, they know who I am. Like, pero it's just, it's like, es un orgullo porque pues yo escuchaba con mi papá y era esos momentos así con mi papá en el carro where like, Dad, can you put Britney Spears? Like, I want the Backstreet Boys. Like, no quiero escuchar Maná, tu música. Y ahora es como completamente, I was like,
Sí.
no, ponme Maná, ponme Oye, mi amor, y que no sé qué tanto, ¿no? Pero now, like, getting that opportunity to, like, interact with them, it's kind of like, whoa, like a pinch me moment. And it's like, wow, like, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't even know who they are or get the opportunity to, like, embrace that. And I think my parents were very supportive. But there are moments where in radio where I'm like, no escuches, no veas. Porque hay ciertos momentos de que, pues, we do unfiltered or we say something or es lo que hemos siempre dicho, entrando en la cabina es puro show. A veces los personajes no somos realmente nosotros. Al final del día somos humanos, lloramos, tenemos sentimientos, tenemos problemas, tenemos cosas médicas que a lo mejor no podemos decir o cosas que estamos pasando, pero llegamos al show a divertir a la gente, no tanto por nosotros, pero nosotros también nos distraemos y nos hace más como que más rápido y más divertido el show, you know?
Yeah.
So a veces decimos, después de las puertas no lo tomes personal, es simplemente el show. Y a veces con nuestros, like with the guys, it's a family dynamic. So we see each other way more than we see our families.
Yeah.
They see me more than they see their wives and their kids, which is sad, but true. Y haz de cuenta, es adentro a veces nos enojamos, nos frustramos, tenemos un día mal, tenía un día bueno, entonces a veces decimos, oye, no tomes personal lo que te voy a decir, y sí, like, lo platicamos afuera del aire o lo que sea. So, siempre es esa dinámica de que, hey, once the mic is on, it's on.
Yeah.
Showbiz, baby.
Yes.
Well, it's entertainment. I think
Yeah.
to translate it here in the podcast, I always tell them, and before with our other co-hosts, Jesus, and when we had Raul, I'd always tell them, if something's going on in your life, I need you to tell me, like, cero pedo. Because at the end of the day, when you come here, this is entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say it's like, or we always say it's like the energy translates out of that little microphone box or this microphone into your speakers. That
Yeah.
our energy is going to transfer out into the
Transmit,
listeners.
mhm.
And if we're sitting here and we're dwelling on like what's happening in our personal lives or whatever it is, that's
Yeah.
going to make us be in a bummy mood.
Or you can't like productively channel it.
Yeah. Then the listener kind of,
Sí.
you know, it reflects onto what you're putting out there, and the listener ultimately is like, it's kind of boring today.
Yeah. And that's the hard part sometimes because you just have to like turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there are times where we're just mentally drained, exhausted, or we probably are sick, don't feel good. Like, tenemos mentalmente, no está, like,
Oh.
y hay días de que sabes que no quiero hablar, pero ya de repente tienes ciertos momentos donde like, por mal día que tengas, hay momentos en el show donde te estás muriendo de la risa.
Sí.
O
Sí.
cosas chistosas pasan y it's just like, oh, okay, and like, this is what I'm here for, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just a constant reminder, pero sí, like, there's good and bad days, but we have to constantly remind each other. We're like, we want to be here. We want to be here.
Yeah, no, it is.
chose this.
It is really hard to kind of get your mindset right when you're not in that mood to record. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fucking difficult.
Oh, sí.
Yeah, it's
O más cuando nos sentimos mal.
sí.
Or, like, sí hay días de que mucha gente no sabe. A veces cuando, like, comiste algo mal y estás corriendo cada rato al baño and
yes.
you're like, hold on.
Yeah. Well, there was one, I think like maybe like a year and a half ago, I got really freaking sick. Pero, I mean, my nose was stuffy. I had a sore throat, but we still had to record because that was when now we're back to weekly, but that was before we had gone to bi-weekly. So we were still pushing out content every single week, and we had to record that week, and I did not want to set up. I did not want to produce. I did not want to come up with any of the content, but we still had to show up. You know, we weren't getting paid at the time. I mean, we're still not getting paid that much, but but
It's okay.
we still had to put out content because I felt like that obligation of like our listeners are like depending on us. Like we would still get those DMs like, hey, why is there no episode today? But we still had to show up for the people, and I was dying. Like it was funny enough. I was like looking at clips today because I wanted to reuse the La Canción clip, and I came across that one, and I was like, I sound like fucking death, but I still showed up.
Sí. Y es que
Part of the
sí.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just part of the business. And sometimes, like, for example, tenemos eventos donde estamos presentando artistas o entrevistas o estás en cámara y no puedes decir que no. Like,
Yeah.
you show up y por mal que te sientas, al menos que you're like, no puedo.
You're definitely.
Entonces sí. Pero la mayoría, you have to like just own it and do it.
I feel so seen. That's how it is with teaching. Like,
Oh yeah.
like you're on the schedule, you got to show up and you do the workout and you got to move your body and you have to motivate all these people. Like,
Yeah.
Ni modo lo que sientas.
Well, you
Sí.
said it like the other day. You were like, well, there's days where you're on your period or something, and like you're in like no mood
When I
whatsoever.
was going through like a depression last year, I would literally get up to go teach. As soon as I got home, I would sit in the shower for hours because I was just like so exhausted because
Yeah.
that's todo. Like you have no
Sí.
choice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you can never tell that like that person is going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know that I
Yeah.
just went home and like cried for hours
No.
afterward. Yeah.
No, yeah, like, and people don't see that sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, that's where you get a little bit more like vulnerable. Like,
Yeah.
the beginning of this year was really hard for me. I was going through some personal stuff, pero it came to the point where like, like, haz de cuenta, Morris y Pancho se han hecho mi familia. Y como yo otra vez, mi familia no está ahí, I'm like, I live alone, you know, I'm on my own trying to pursue this career. And like, they're basically like my family. And there's like moments where I just was like bawling my eyes out because I was like going through some stuff and I was just like, I'm just like, no, like, you know, like it just wouldn't, I couldn't stop. And it's just days like that where you have those days, but like, thankfully you have to have a team around you that supports you.
Yeah.
And and like, just as much as they've been there for me, I've been there for them in those moments too. Like, we each have cried at least a couple times, either live and off the cameras, you know, like it's just, that's part of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna happen, and we just have to be there for each other, and we
That's the
try to
human
be.
element. Like you can control technologically as much as you want. You can edit shit out, but you can't edit people's raw humanity.
Sí, like, por ejemplo, like, we, like, deaths in our families.
Yeah.
Hay momentos donde nuestros papás, abuelos o gente que conocemos fallecen y pues you're live and you have to put on a show.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can't even, like, if a memory comes up and like you talk and you start crying, like, but you know what? That's where people connect with you as like an individual, and they're like, hey, like,
100%.
you know, it's like they're also having a bad day just like I am. So it's a really cool to see your listeners when they're not on air and it's outside of the element, and you're like, you forget, you're like, oh yeah, people listen to me.
Yeah. They know my persona.
They know you, yeah.
And a crazy amount of people because you're like in Texas. Y yo te escucho aquí.
So we're in California, and you're talking like San Diego, LA, San Francisco, San Jose, and then like who knows in between.
Yeah.
Las Vegas. We get people from like Oregon, like Portland, quién sabe, allá del norte, all over Texas, Chicago, New York, Arizona. You get people, who else? New Jersey, like Florida, like ahora because we're on Vixen, YouTube, México, Tijuana. So ya nos están escuchando por todos lados. So no nomás no es como que algo pequeño, es like algo grande donde la gente sí nos escucha y a veces se me olvida.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that when we were reconfirming when I sent you the picture, I was like, "Te estoy escuchando." De hecho, when we were reconfirming
Sí.
the podcast,
Ajá.
and I was telling my dad, and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually reconfirming that we're gonna have Zayda on the show." And my dad was like, "Ay, no chingues." And I was like, "You don't know her," and I was like, "I've actually known her for like years, bro. Like, before she was on the radio."
Yeah. And you know what's funny is like I have a lot of secret admirers. Hello to my secret admirers. Los amo. They're like, chiquita bebé, like, ¿cómo estás, mi Zaydita? Y que no sé qué tanto. I was like, ¿qué pasó, mi amor? ¿Cómo estamos?
Yeah.
And like, it's so funny. It's like, ¿cómo me encantas? Me haces el día. Y el frase del día. Because we have a segment called La Nota Feliz. And like, at first, I was never supposed to have my own segment, and it was never supposed to be as big as it got. It was actually like, if you were to listen to my recordings from 3 years ago to where it is now, 2 different Zaydas.
Yeah.
Very insecure, very like, I was like super protective of like what I was going to say, lo decía mal y me ponía super roja y like me trababa mucho. Ahora like me trabo y me río y sigo. O like si digo algo mal y se burlan de mí, ya soy súper rápida para like agarrarlos de decirles otra cosa o sacar mi onda, you know? So like you adapt and you create a better version of yourself, and like, yes, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna fail, that's just part of the job, but you just keep on going. Like, you're gonna get embarrassed, you're gonna like mess up, you're not gonna say the words right, but you know what, people like you more for that than for you being actually perfect.
Yeah.
They like prefer you to mess up than they actually like prefer you to be saying things perfectly. And they have more fun with you, and it's authentic, and like people vibe with you more. Because that was like the whole dynamic. I was like, yo soy pocha. Like, I can't, like, what people don't understand sometimes is like, I'm on the computer, I'm managing the cameras, I'm answering the phone calls, and then all of a sudden they're like, Zayda, ¿qué piensas de esto? So my brain is like going back and forth with English and Spanish. So cuando ya llego, I'm like, chin, ¿cómo se dice
Como el
sofa?
gatito, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, huh? Like, ¿cómo se dice esto? Y yo así como que tratando de explicarme. So then all of a sudden I'm like, sí, el sofa que te había dicho está red y no sé qué tanto. And like, I'm just mixing languages. And it's funny, but people like it. And now they call and they say, they're like, I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer
to
you,
embrace it.
I prefer you speaking that way than actually speaking formal Spanish. So it's cool how like things have changed completely.
Yeah, well, that was kind of like the purpose of how we started the podcast too. Like, we would invite people over, and a lot of the times it was influencers or people who were content creators. But the basis of the pod was more of like, we're still people too. We still fuck up. We still we like you just said earlier, we have emotions. We cry. We go through personal problems or just personal issues that we can't, put online sometimes, or we're afraid to put online, or people just see a perfected version of us on our socials. So that was the purpose of like inviting people over. It was like, no, people are still people here. And I want you to be able to connect with the content creators or the influencers that you see online and let you know it's like we're living the same life sometimes, or we're going through the same things. We just portray it differently.
See, it's like, that's kind of how we describe because aside from the Freeway Show, we have like the podcast too. Mm-hmm. It's called Iguales pero Diferentes, porque somos iguales pero diferentes. Y es la verdad. It's like, we all have like, we're all vulnerable. We all go through the same exact emotions anybody else does. So it's just, it's normal to have, like how I told you, the good and bad days of radio. And like the only difference is that we have to put on that show for everybody else, even on the days we really do not want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you do a great job at it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Definitely.
Practice and a lot of patience.
I
A
can
lot of
yeah.
experience, a lot of years that
lot.
you've been in it,
Y haz de cuenta, the show has changed in the last 3 years. Like how I told you, it was first just audio, and now you have to do live stream. We're getting on camera. We have to be presentable. Ahora los muchachos no pueden estar todos feos y cuachalotos. And I'm like, arréglate, por favor. Like, arréglate, por favor.
How am I going to make a clip?
I know. I'm like, like I tell us like, okay, this day we're gonna dress like this day we're gonna do that. Te tienes que peinar y hasta a mí me dicen ahora ya no puedo llegar sin maquillaje, ya me tengo que maquillar todo el tiempo. And I was like, no, you know how much that cost? The patience of having to do it all and the hair too. And I'm like, I can't wear the same outfit every time.
The camera has seen this sweatshirt like 50 million times. I put it on, but I was like, you already had that on last episode. It's all right. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Guys get away with it more than
We
girls
do. Yeah,
do.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
like
unfair.
we girls, we can't. I'm like, it doesn't happen.
Like I have to buy clothes for work. I have to buy clothes for my life. I have to buy clothes for the podcast. Like I can't-
Once we start
Yeah.
monetizing more, we can just expense everything.
All right,
Trust me, I got it all down.
He's like, I got you.
Yeah.
chop chop.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the evolution of radio a little bit.
Yeah.
But before that, you guys down for a quick break?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mario, pause.
Y tan solo con el precio me has pagado. Vive con huevos, compa, lo que es. Que si una vez dije que
Welcome back, guys. Zayda, you have two Instagrams, right? Zayda, the
I
producer, and
do.
Zayda on air. Is that like your alter ego?
I wish I could say that maybe in the future, pero Zayda, @Zayda la producer, and it's Zayda con Z-A-Y-D-A, Z-A-Y-D-A. That's the show's social media. And then my personal one is @Zayda on air.
Okay.
So like I try to separate. I wish it would have just been combined. Those are my two. Zayda la producer is the show one for a freeway show, and then Zayda on air is my personal one.
Okay.
So the stuff that I usually wouldn't post on producer, I post on my personal one.
Like your
But then-
boyfriend and stuff.
Yes, my habibi. So this is my first Arab man, and he's Lebanese. And like, I would have never thought I'd be dating an Arab man just because I've always dated Latinos, Mexicanos, like, and I mean Latinos like Colombianos, Cubanos, Dominicanos, you know, like,
She was well versed
Yeah.
in the Latino
yeah.
world.
I love my Latinos. I still do, pero my Arab men have conquered me. Yeah. Funny story is like, okay, nos conocimos. Haz de cuenta el año pasado andaba en una relación tóxica y está bien, yo lo puedo decir porque esto lo digo en la radio. Tóxica con un vato que nada que ver, like just ended so bad. And like I'm over here crying and like you know saying like no, like these men are terrible, like I just and like not that the men are terrible, I was just picking the wrong men. That was the whole thing about it.
I always say is like, los hombres no todos somos iguales.
No son.
Que-
Nomás,
Que tú escojas el mismo tipo de pendejo es otra cosa.
y desafortunadamente yo estaba escogiendo esos pendejos, yeah. Sí, easy. Ahora sí, like,
Finally, someone agrees with me. I said,
like,
fuck yeah.
es que la neta sí, es que sí. I went to therapy, guys. Pero haz de cuenta de que yo aquí soltándome mis llantos y de que no, cucaracho, que no sé qué tanto. Mi mejor amiga, yo me juntaba mucho con ella y sus primos. Y la prima, su esposo dijo, ¿sabes qué? I know somebody, I have a friend. You're just gonna match very well with him. He's Arab. And I was like, no. No. I don't want to date an Arab guy. I was like, show me a picture. And I was like,
Maybe I'll date an Arab guy.
I mean, he's cute, but no. He's like, he told me, Zayda, trust me, I've hooked up my other friends and it's worked. I have a touch. Like, you guys are going to meet. He's like, come here. He takes a picture of the three of us, him, his wife, and then me, Denise and Matt. Thank you guys. Shout out to Denise and Matt. And like he sends the text to Naeem. That's his name. That's my habibi. And is like, this is Zayda. She's single. You're single. You guys should meet. You guys would be perfect. Get to know each other. This is her number. So I'm over here like super heartbroken. And what's funny is like he had just gotten dumped too by somebody. So we both are like heartbroken, like texting each other. Did not know that until like the following year, right? So we're texting back and forth. We send each other pictures, but we don't talk. We don't FaceTime, nada. We're just texting each other. And I'm like, oh, whatever. But like the thing is, he's in Detroit. I'm in Houston, like long distance. How is it going to work? You know, I'm like, and my ex was long distance. I was like, yeah, ya no más long distance, ya he hecho mucho long distance, yo lo quiero aquí físicamente presente, like, quiero que esté en mi apartamento, yo en el suyo, like, ya no
Yeah.
quiero estar de larga
Same.
distancia, like, ya estoy harta. Entonces dije, nah, I was like, este güey, nah. Dije, y él dijo, voy a venir, and I was like, puras mentiras estás diciendo, you're not coming. And it's because at the time, Matt and his wife Denise, she was pregnant, so like she wasn't having her baby till the following year. So él según decía que iba a venir y haz de cuenta, and I still have the text messages where he sends me a video, and I left him on red. And so then the next year, I was just like, I'm done with men. No, I don't want to date nobody. I don't want to see nobody. Like, I was just like, no, I'm dealing with my stuff. I just got off of something toxic. I was like, ya no quiero hablar con ningún hombre. Ya estoy harta de los hombres. Dije, este año va a ser soltera y feliz. Así como la canción de Shakira, soltera y ya. Y haz de cuenta, él me mandó un mensaje y me dice, hey, I'm coming into town. I'd like to, like, set a date with you. And I was like, and
Okay.
then Denise and I know, right? Like Matt and Denise are like, we're
Fine.
gonna do a double
Where?
date. We're gonna do a double date. Come on, you have to say yes. And I was like, fuck. This is the first time we're meeting. We've never really seen each other in person. Like it's only been pictures and social media and like text messages. My friend Christy, which Christy is my go-to girl too. She's like, Zayda, go. Like just go. And like I
You have
remember
a really good group of friends.
I know.
I
Like, they're
do.
pushing you to
Yeah.
Z90,
Denise
pushing you.
for
God
See?
damn.
you know what? God is good, and like I'm grateful for the friendships I've developed because if it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, dado unas regañadas, pero buenas y bonitas, pero está bien, me las merezco. Pero
But I think that's so important in your friend group.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it
like
is.
I've always said, it's like I don't need a yes man in my group, man.
No.
In my group,
yeah,
I need someone that's gonna like sit me down and
Challenge
be
you.
like, yeah, challenge me a little bit and tell me the hard truth.
sí,
Tell me the things I don't want to hear or the things that I already know,
yeah.
but like I'm not accepting.
No, y sí, igual.
It's
Like,
like ChatGPT.
sí, yeah.
Tell me the hard truth.
Just tell me. Yeah, y soy así también. A veces I'm like, I don't want to hear it, but they're like, just give it to me. And for them, I'm like the fun, spontaneous one and the creative one. So I'm always like making them like do like something fun but loving. You know, I
Mhm.
never do things out of like disrespect or like too crazy.
Of
It's always
course.
like a fun atmosphere with me, I feel. And I'm always trying to like stay lively, you know, and that's what I bring to them. Color, I would say. Color.
That's amazing.
Balance.
Así, y literal, así como me escuchan y me ven, es exactamente como ando. Por eso se divierten conmigo. They're like, pinche Zayda, no sé de qué vas a decir ahora, nomás es pura cura contigo.
You always need that one friend.
Yeah,
you
you
never know what
do.
it's gonna come out of their
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, and like sometimes I'm just honest, and that's my Sagittarian ways. I'm just brutally honest, but it's funny sometimes, I guess, and sometimes I don't mean to be like.
And you're like,
It's
no,
never
but I'm being
disrespectful.
really serious.
I'm like, no, but see, my friend was like, go. I had gone off work, and I always get off work late, and I was like, I still drive home because I'm like, I need to like change or do something because I've been working all day. So I'm literally in the couch, just like sitting, and I'm like, I don't want to date. I don't want to go on this date. I don't want to do this. And my friend's like, you're already dressed. Get your ass up. Stop making them wait and go. And so I show up and I like see him and I was like, tall, dark, and handsome with a beard. I was like, okay, kind of my type. I was like, I guess he's not bad looking. And
Okay,
like,
pues.
está bien. Like, he's okay. He's cute. Like, you know, I mean, I was like, tiene algo. Pero we'll see. Y haz de cuenta, mi amiga me pregunta, es like, Denise me dice, oye, es like, ¿qué piensas? Es like, está guapillo el vato, está guapillo. I was like, pero no sé. El siguiente día it was my friend's bachelorette party. And then on Sunday was our date. So Naeem kept trying to like tell me like, hey, after the bachelorette party, come over here to like Denise and Matt's house. We're having like crawfish and just hanging out by the pool and like we can just hang out. So I was like, I just, after the Bachelorette, I was like, nah, I don't want to go. I'm good. I was like, I'll wait for tomorrow for the date. He's like, okay. He's like, well, I'm going to pick you up. He's like, you said movies, right? I was like, oh. He's like, yeah. So I pick like the fanciest movie where like the comfy couch, like the nice, like, they bring, yeah, exactamente, Cinépolis, but like bougie, right? And he's like, okay, I'm going to pick you. Like the movie starts at, I think it was at 9 or 8. I made a dinner reservation for 7. I'm going to come pick you up. And I was like, shit. Mega, no.
I have to talk to him.
I have to freaking talk to him. He borrowed the car, his friend's car, picks me up. He like opens the door for me. What do I see? Like rosas. And I was like, un punto. No, 2 puntos. Me abrió la puerta, me compró rosas. Ya vamos a cenar. Y luego, like, we're having dinner and we're having a conversation. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, the conversation's actually kind of good. He's like goofy, but he's cute. And I was like, fuck. Okay, other point. And
Zayda's still battling this. Like, no, I need a negative here.
I do. I was trying so hard and I couldn't find anything. And then we go to the movies and we watch that one movie with Michael B. Jordan where he's like the vampire, right? Or something like that.
Yo, Creed?
Yeah. No, it
That's
wasn't
a horrible movie. He's half naked.
No, that's why. Por eso. I'm just kidding. No, me tocó el otro. Where he's like, Sinners, yes.
I just watched it on the plane.
It's so good. I think the moment that like he kind of got me a little more was we were at the movie theaters and we're sitting down. And it's okay, I can tell this story. So like
it's on the radio.
It's like those funny like couple moments where you're like, you'll forever remember this moment. So estamos sentados viendo la película y de repente like my stomach starts to like make noises like rumbling, right? And like it happens the exact moment the movie is silent.
Yes.
And I'm like, and so like the movie's silent, my stomach's like rumbling, and I look over at him, he looks over at me, and I'm like, and I start laughing, and I'm like, no es como que puedo decir que tengo hambre porque acabo de comer like muchísimo con él, because we had like paella y que no sé qué dando, right? Y haz de cuenta de que he looks at me, I look at him, and we just start laughing, and I'm like, well, can't say I'm hungry because we just ate, and I think I told him, I was like, it had to be the moment the movie was silent, right? And he's like, right? And we just started laughing, and I was like, it was just a funny moment.
You had to break the ice a little bit.
Yeah, I broke the ice for sure. Well, like my stomach did, but I was like, yeah. And then when he dropped me off, it was like, I was like, I wonder, is he gonna ask me to kiss me, or is he just gonna go for it and be like a man, you know? Because like us girls, I feel like we want the romance, but then we want like 50 Shades of Grey, como ese like 365 days de el vato que es like, ven pa' acá, eres mía. So like, bien dramáticas, ¿no? Sí, like, treat me nice, but then don't. Pero es que sí.
Yeah.
Y haz de cuenta.
We just had Santa Micah say like the same thing on
All women are
Comadreando.
the same. Be polite in public in front of people where it matters, and then I want like borderline domestic abuse in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Sí. Literal. A veces yo.
Hello.
A veces le tienes que decir, dame esa nalgada ya. Dámela.
Sí.
Like, ya. Jálame el pelo. Más duro.
Like, you see this? It's been growing out.
You're like, pero not too hard porque las extensiones me salieron caras, okay? Pero not too hard. Pero sí, and then so like he like, you know what comes to mind at that very moment? It was literally like the scene from like, what's the movie? Se me fue la onda with Will Smith, where he's like the love doctor.
Oh, Hitch.
Hitch. That moment in Hitch where the chick's like fiddling with her keys. Mm-hmm. And I'm like fiddling with my keys, walking to like my door, to like the entrance of my apartment.
So it does work.
It does.
So it is real.
It is real. So I'm over here like fidgeting, like waiting. I'm like, is he going to go for it? Is he not? Because if not, I'm just going to go inside. So I look over and he's like walking. And like no sé por qué en ese exacto momento me imaginé el vato así como agarrando su inhaler y tirándolo y haciendo, I literally
Like the actual movie.
I picture the movie. So así me quedo así como que all frozen, like the girl with fiddling with her keys. I was like, well, I had a nice time. Like, thank you. And like he actually kisses me. And then I tell him, I was like, I really felt like I was in the Hitch movie. And he's like, oh, where he's like, and throws his inhaler. And I was like, yeah. And then he kisses me. So he'll like confirm that. But yeah,
Oh.
that was like how it initiated. And then all of a sudden,
Well, I'm glad he had the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
Or like knew what you were talking
There's
about.
another check.
Yeah.
that was it. Like
Yeah.
that was the like huge check.
That was a llévame. Take me.
Oh yeah, I was like, al cuarto, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, he would like he was yeah. That got me. His goofiness was like cherry on top. And then so like it's long distance, right? He lives in Detroit, and I'm like, well, you're leaving. He said the words that every Sagittarius woman wants to hear, and he was like, hey, how would you feel if I buy you a ticket and flew you out to Detroit and you spend the weekend with me? And I was like, hell fucking yeah. Like,
Hell yeah, brother.
like
Hell yeah, brother.
when? Like where? Like now. Like let's do this now.
I'm already packed.
Yeah, like I'm already at the airport. Which one's my flight? And so yeah, we started dating. So,
Is he a good dancer?
he's okay.
Okay.
I mean, he's good at some stuff, but he's not. He knows he has 2 left feet, so
yeah,
like
it's okay.
he tries.
He'll get there. He'll get there
He
little by
will.
little.
he will. At least he tries. But he's very understanding of my work and everything I do, and he gives me like he's like I think what's the word where he's like emotionally like just there and
Emotionally intelligent.
emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
And that's something very rare about like men sometimes to
Yeah.
find.
I think I do want to touch on something that,
Yeah.
because I wanted to talk about socials and the radio and stuff like that. But before we get into that, I think it is really important, especially you being so big on the radio, and you have to be so big, especially now because we were talking about the evolution of radio and how that's evolved now into like socials.
Sí.
Your job relies so much on your network, and your network, unfortunately and fortunately, sometimes is just like you said earlier, is just so male dominated that you have to have someone around you that is very confident in you and in the relationship.
Yeah. And that's been the issue. That was the biggest issue. And I think a lot of the girls who are in radio can confirm, or even hosts. Like, our biggest problem is that if a man is insecure about himself, it's going to translate in the relationship and it's going to go towards you. And like, I tell him, I'm like, listen, I'm working. Like, I'm never going to disrespect our relationship or you. And if I do, you tell me. But I know myself and I know my values, and I wouldn't do that to him or, the relationship. But I tell him, I was like, listen, you have to understand who you're dating. I'm technically a public figure. Like,
Not technically. Don't sugarcoat it.
I know. I'm like, he tells me that all the time. He's like, babe, you're famous. I was like, how does it feel to have a famous girlfriend? He's like, feels kind of nice, but yeah. But it's the reality. So I told him, I was like, guys are gonna come up to me. They're gonna want pictures. They're gonna respect me, but just know the comments. Sometimes he sees that in the social media. Is like, estás hermosa, eres mi amor platónico. Like, you'll see like guys comment so much and like my stuff, and like I have to have someone who's very confident in themselves for him to date me, because if not, he's gonna be like, why is he texting you? Why is he doing that? What is that? ¿Por qué? No hagas eso. Then the controlling machista comes in, and that's where it's a huge no, especially for this type of environment. I'm up on stage and getting introduced to like artists, their managers, people in the network. And if you have a partner who's getting drunk, who's acting disrespectful, who's getting into fights, who's getting very insecure, who's starting drama, that's a huge red flag, because it's going to start to damage your reputation and your career.
Extension of you.
It is. It's who you date is very important in this career, because it's going to show who you are. And like, there's been a lot of incidents in the media where because of their partner, they have issues or even lawsuits that can build up because of what they've been doing or what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's very important who you have to back you up in this industry, with your partner. That's why you can't date loosely.
It's not fair when you work as hard as you do and
Yeah.
you've dedicated so much, and you seem like a person that has a lot of grit. So it also is so counterintuitive. Like, luché tanto por esto and
Sí.
para desperdiciarlo en tus mamadas.
Yeah.
Like, why?
A lot of the times that was the biggest issue. It was just like, I want to travel, I want to do this, and you want a family. I can't give you that right now. Eventually I can, but at that moment I was working so hard to what I was going through to get where I'm at, and it's like now I'm getting the result, and it's like, see what I mean? This I've gone so far. Why? Like if I would have had a family, it could have probably worked, but it probably couldn't. I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times that was the biggest issue, that like they're like, you're putting your career over me. And that was the other thing. It's like you can't have both things at the same time sometimes. It's either your career or your love life. And that's always been an issue for this.
You can with the right person, though.
You
which
can.
It sounds like you
Yeah.
have. So
You can at the right person, but you always sacrifice something.
yeah, of
At
course.
one point, I'm going to have to sacrifice something, because if I'm being honest, like for example, if I want to have a kid, I can't have it with the type of lifestyle that I have right now. I'd have to sacrifice something and let go of something maybe
Yeah.
for me to have that opportunity. But then it's like I've already gone to where I'm at. Maybe I'm okay with letting that go.
I was having this conversation with one of my friends where he really wanted to lock in on content creation, but they were also trying to have kids. So his wife ended up having, well, she ended up getting pregnant. They had the kid, but he had to like put his content creation on pause.
Yeah.
And it really took like a pretty big hit on his mental health, because like he already had the momentum. And then they got the news that they were pregnant, and they had to put so much on pause. And like you said, it's that little small sacrifice. And now he's restarting his content creation, but now he could just kind of feels like he's just starting from zero, because he already had that huge momentum. He already had like a few viral clips, and then he stopped, disappeared for a little bit, and now it's like, how do I get back to that?
Yeah. And I think like it changes and adapts.
Yeah.
Maybe like your old content creating isn't the same as it is now. Like I've seen so many people go from being single to being in a relationship to having a family, and then all of a sudden like they're more successful because now they're shooting family things than they were when they were single. So like I think it just changes, and like if you gradually like when it comes to content creating, don't give it up fully, still show a little bit, so that people start to, so that you're guiding the people to where you want them to be, which is eventually with that family, right?
Yeah.
So you're giving them like, okay, so a little taste of what's to come in the future.
I honestly admire when public figures are authentic, and I myself, whether it's in class, whether it's here, I really try to lead with authenticity because of how much I admire that. Because when you do make it in your career or you become a mother, your lens also becomes so much bigger for the world, and you have different things to consider, and then you can offer different perspectives to people. And yes, you're going to lose some of the people that can't maybe relate to you being a mom, but you gain so many people that now are also equally relying on you to be just as honest with your journey. And I think that there's something really beautiful with that too.
Yeah.
And when you do have partners that can lift you up and adapt with you, maybe you're not ready to let go of the career. So that means he has to step it up a little bit more as the parent. And those dynamics exist too. But I think the key is just having people in your corner that know how to flow with you.
Compared to how it was before with like my exes, it's definitely, I was like, damn, I was picking some bad ones. and like they're not bad people. Everybody has their journey, but we just were not good together.
Yeah.
Like we just were not good. And now I see it, I was like, oh, ahora entiendo lo que todos me están diciendo de que está eligiendo los hombres like malos.
Yeah.
Like hombres que no a lo mejor estaban a mi nivel de lo que yo quería.
Eran los incorrectos para ti.
Sí.
And so all of that has led you to here.
Yes,
So,
to my habibi.
yes. Your career is obviously like super demanding, right? And like even just like the schooling and moving up to where you're at now. How would you say that that's affected like your mental health?
It does. It's an up and down all the time battle. I think in this industry, you kind of have to always be somehow perfect, and physically, like appearance wise too. It's something that you always, unfortunately, have to always work for. Always trying to like because the world's changing so much in media, you always have to be constantly changing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to ask for help when you need it. There are moments in life where you're like, it's gonna test you so much, but you have to have those people in your corner. You have to have your therapist. You have to also like have those conversations with yourself, and like there in those moments I distance myself from certain things, and I try to like humble myself down and do more nature stuff. I'm huge big in like spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever your spirituality is, whether you believe in God or whoever it is, I always need those moments to help me guide me, to relax me in those hard moments with my career, with the mental health,
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna happen. You need it.
What
And
what has been some of the hardest things that, at least for like radio in the industry? Because I know like social media and content creation, and we talked about it off air a little bit, where it's like, at least something that I battled with a lot throughout the past 3 years of the journey with Vive con Huevos is the algorithm and how much of a slave I am to the numbers. And for you, it's a lot more different because now not only is radio changing where you have to have a social media presence, but radio in itself also like demands so much of your attention and needs because you have to produce, you have to get the listeners in.
yeah,
So now you have that double whammy for you because now you have the podcast, now you have radio, and oh, three things because now and then now your social presence. So how do you what's been like the most difficult?
the difficult part is separating vacation from work, because even on vacation I'm still working because of social
Yeah.
media. I hate, even though I'm good at it, I hate social media porque no, like you there's no break.
Yeah.
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 There's no break. And that's where you just literally have to shut your phone off and be, sabes que life is going to continue, work's going to continue, but I need to continue too. So when I'm on vacation, I have to set my boundaries. I think boundaries is the most important part. Like para mí is like, es que no descansas. Siempre que like, and then you start saying, we had this amount of people viewing our podcast or like our live stream, and now we're down like 1,000, or now we're down 300, or like, so I'm like calculating, I'm like letting numbers define my success. But that's where we have to kind of huddle up and be like, no, we've gone so far. We have literally how my tattoo says, give yourself grace. This is something like a therapist told me. You have to give yourself grace
Yeah.
every single time. You have to, because if not, this life's gonna consume you, and you're gonna be so. And that's where you see like all your favorite, and they'll be honest with you, like your favorite like influencers. You see that they like disappear
Yeah.
because their mental health gets so heavy, and they're so stuck on the views and the likes and how many people follow them, that they stop focusing on their real life and the relationships that they have, that all they
Yeah.
want to talk about is social media. All they want to talk about, everything is content.
It is a
Yeah.
really hard thing to like give
Separate.
separate yourself with that because my mind is like content driven all the damn time. Yeah, but we're on vacation. It's like I want to take a video, but for what? And I can't have that disconnect sometimes. And I think these past few months I've been trying to work on that for myself personally because I did get so wrapped up and consumed in like everything is content, and I kind of got lost, and I was like I
Sí,
forgot, se me olvidó vivir.
Yeah.
De plano se me olvidó todo. It was like I wasn't present. Some of the
sí,
biggest fights that we would have, it was like, dude, you're not present,
yeah.
and it does consume you ridiculously amounts.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I learned is planning it. If you plan it ahead of time, like okay, if you, let's say you're going on vacation and you see certain reels that you want to do or certain ideas,
Mm.
maybe plan that out the beginning part of the trip, and then the rest don't even touch your phone, or just
Yeah.
be like in the moment, just take short reels or short like footage, and then eventually build it up, or just dedicate like some time beforehand and plan out certain reels or certain things, so that you already have it scheduled and it's aired, or like gets posted and you're already on vacation enjoying your life.
Before we get into the last two questions, I do want to know or pick your brain a little bit into your favorite moments as far as your radio career.
I'll start with the not like famous people, because yes, it's a whole nother world, and you get the privilege of like meeting artists. But I think the biggest like moments for me that are much more genuine and honest and I love are the moments when I get to interact with my listeners, because if it wasn't for them we wouldn't even
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So I think the listeners for listening all the time, they're the reason why we have the show. They're the reason why I'm even a part of Freeway Show. If it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't want to work,
Yeah.
because they're the ones who make our days. If they think we make their days, they make our days.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a phone call. Like I'm the one picking up the phones, and I always prep them whenever they go on air. And it was a little kid. I don't remember if it was a boy or girl, but it was a little kid. And like, because sometimes it's cool when you get kids to call,
Yeah.
like even though their parents
Yeah.
are behind them, telling them di esto, di el otro, but it's cool to hear the kids because they're honest.
Yeah.
And like to get in like a listener of a kid is very unusual sometimes. So the kid was like, hi, like we were talking. I forgot what the topic was, but I was like, oh, ¿te gusta el show? Y dice, sí, sí, me gusta mucho. ¿Y cuál es qué te gusta del show? Me gusta mucho la nota feliz, which is my
No.
part. And I was like,
That's
Mom,
me.
I made it.
That's me.
lo hice. And I was like, ¿y quién es tu favorito? Pues tú.
No.
Tú eres mi favorita. And I was like, I'm gonna cry right now. It's like, no. And they're like, see, I wish you would talk more though. I want to hear you more. Cause a lot of the times the guys talk more than I do because I'm doing I'm doing a million things.
Yeah.
So I'll get in when I can. But for the most part, I'll talk when I need to talk.
That's so funny
Nice.
because like night I think back at like when my mom would usually drop me off at school and I would listen to the radio a little bit more. It's like escuchaba la trampa. Like that was like my favorite section. It was just like the
Sí.
chisme.
Yeah.
Like I want to know who got caught cheating.
Yeah, and it's because you get hooked.
Yeah.
So like it's cool. It's cool to have that interaction with them. I think the other time was I remember my mom and I were at PF Chang's, and like we're waiting on my dad to get, and we're like starting to order food. And then all of a sudden the waiter comes up and he's like, "How are your cats?" And I was like,
Do I
Like-
know you?
"Where do I know you from?" Like I look at my mom looks at me like, "¿Conoces este señor o qué onda?" And then I'm like thinking to my head, I was like, "Where have I met him?" I'm like over here trying so hard to think where I met him. And he's like, and then it clicked because I was like, oh, I was like, ¿escuchas el Freeway Show? He's like, sí, veo tu contenido.
No.
And I was like, because I think the guy understood. And I was like, ay, muchas gracias, pues están súper bien. Están ahí desmadrosos, pero ahí siguen. So it was such a cute moment, like for him to like notice me through and like the first thing he said was the content, like social media, how big social media is, right?
Yeah.
So like he sees me through my reels and the stuff that I do with my cats, aside from listening to the show. I think the other moment was we were in San Antonio and I was with my boyfriend. My boyfriend can confirm this. This was not that long ago. We were at for my cousin's wedding, and for some weird reason, the car rental that we got, the tire like had a flat tire, so we had to go get it fixed. So we were trying to look for a tire shop, and we randomly go to like a tire shop, and like the guy sees us, and like he looks at me. I didn't really catch it. I was just letting my boyfriend kind of do the thing of like being the man, you know?
Yeah.
So like we get out of the car, and like the guy sees me and is like staring, and then he like looks over, and like I guess apparently he kept staring at me a lot to the point where he's like, "Are you Zayda?" And I was like,
Who's asking?
"Yes." And he's like with a big old smile, and I was like, "Oh, do you listen to El Freeway Show?" He's like, "Sí, los veo todo el tiempo." And my boyfriend was like, I knew it. I knew it. He's like, amor. He kept staring at you. He like knew he recognized you. So that was like a pinch me moment where you're like, oh my God, like people actually listen to you and you just never know who it is.
Yeah.
My dad's gone so many people like los jardineros que van a la casa. Oh, escucha tu hija todos los días. Like random people are telling my dad that they listen to him. Excuse me. And then my tío even told me, he's like, So I found out that my friends listen to you and they think you're hot. And like they did not believe me when I told them that you're my niece. And they're like, and I showed them a picture of you. They're like, oh, that is your niece. Like, and I'm over here like, it's because I'm so in my world with my work that I forget that there's an outside because I'm just like, the show needs this, this, and this. We need to get done with this, this, and this. We have these priorities, these deadlines. So like my mind is all like career driven that when I get out of it and I have like calm time, vacation time, I forget who's listening or where I'm at and the possibility that I can get noticed. And they always say like it always takes the show like about 3 years for people to actually really get to know you. And thankfully, thank God, because of our listeners, and they're the ones who make the show. We say it all the time. We've gone to be number one in a lot of different markets because they really like the show.
Scared me.
Yes.
Sorry, did you get scared?
Yeah.
Yeah. Loud.
Like,
I wasn't
wait.
expecting it.
Yeah. Now I can get into like the more like bien acá, like artistas, you know? Because sometimes I forget who I've met.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, sí es cierto. Conocí a esta persona, hice esto y hicimos esto. So like there's certain artists we have really good connections with, and there's other artists who like give us opportunities. So like we get to work with a lot of artists. I think one of the biggest moments that was like, wow, was when we got to go to the Latin American Music Awards.
That's really
We went when Bad Bunny got the song out, like Me queda 1%,
Yeah.
like Grupo Frontera, Bad Bunny, Peso Pluma, or like Ella Baila Sola, like they were popping. So that's the Latin American Music Awards that I got the opportunity to go to. My first time at a red carpet, it's a freaking jungle.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It seems like it would be a jungle.
¿sabes a qué me recuerda mucho? Like people think, oh, it's so nice, like being in a red
No,
carpet.
it's chaos.
Hell to the no. It's literally like that scene in Mean Girls in like where they're
The
like
jungle.
the jungle.
Yeah.
Es exactamente eso. Like lo que mucha gente no sabe es de que tú estás en el red carpet y va a haber televisión, radio, lo que like mucha gente de diferentes networks, diferentes lugares y literal tienes que jalar a los manejadores para que ellos jalen a sus artistas para que tú hagas la entrevista. So like they're not just going to come to you unless they really know you. You have to go up to them and be like, pull them. So you're
Wow.
like really fighting for their attention and you're not going to get all the artists.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully, because we're with Univision, we have a little bit of an advantage, but even then. But that day, the guys, I wasn't still, like I was just starting, so I wasn't really the talent at that time. Now I would be. Back then, I was just behind the scenes, so I was making sure that the guys were good, that everything was, we were doing a live transmission on radio for the first time in the red carpet.
Oh, wow.
But they interviewed Karin León, estaba Peso Pluma, Grupo Frontera, Carlos Vives, ¿quién más? Estaba Sin Bandera, estaba, ¿quién más? I saw Anuel y con DJ Luyan. ¿Quién más? Estaba La Chiqui, estaba Becky G. It was just so crazy to see like the artists you listen to
Yeah.
and see all the
Like
time.
right there in
but
person,
Walking
right in front of you. Yeah.
Y luego en ese momento, I know people are going to be hating right now and I'm going to be judging. But this was when Ángela Aguilar was actually pretty cool, okay, guys? And she's cool. She's nice.
I feel like she gets a lot,
She gets a
lot
lot
of
of
hate.
hate.
she gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And it's just because of.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
So, like, I'm over here with the guys, we're wrapping up, and all of a sudden I see her from behind. She's like, hi. So, like, I mean, para que alguien te diga hola, que te salude, you're just like, oh my God, like, you're really, like, saying hi to me, you know? So that was, like, a cool moment, and I got to be a part of that and kind of, like, interview and just hold. I wasn't really saying much. I was just holding the mic, but I was like, oh my God, like, I'm here. Like, I made it, you know? And, like, what's funny is, like, my parents saw me on TV because so in the red carpet, there's cameras everywhere. And for some reason, I think the carpet wasn't red, it was pink because of the Latin American Music Awards. And that year I said, I have a feeling the color pink is going to be in. And I think a lot of the girls are going to wear pink. So I was stuck between a white dress to wear and a pink dress. All from Meshki. Like, not even like a bougie ass like designer ni nada. It was Meski. Or Meshki, I don't even know how you say it. Something like that. So I was like, do I wear the pink or do I wear the white? I was like, I went with my gut and I went with the white. So I stood out. Nobody wore white. So like here I am in the red carpet, and all of a sudden I hear everybody, move! You're in the shot! Move! So I would move, and then all of a sudden I have somebody else yelling at me, muévete! Estás en mi shot!
Wow.
Dije, oh, que la...
I start
Me-
crying.
Me movía otra vez, me movía y otra vez me gritaban y me gritaban. Y dije, llegó al punto, I was like, güey.
Ni modo, güey.
Ni modo, ya.
Aguántate.
So yo salgo en la tele y en los videos y nomás ves mi vestido blanco. Por
moviéndose
todos lados.
moviéndose de
Por
puesto.
Por todos lados me veías. Y hasta en un punto I was like, damn, my ass looks great though. I was like, okay, like you saw like silhouette, and I was like,
It must have been such a surreal feeling too, like
It
just
was-
being there. Like you said, it's a pinch yourself moment.
It
You're like,
is.
estoy aquí.
no, it
It's
really
also
was.
something you like grew up with. I don't know if you would watch it like.
I
growing up,
did.
but you know,
I
like,
grew up watching it, so to actually be there was like, no fucking
Yeah,
way.
like
Like
full
I made
circle.
it. Like,
Mhm.
I
Aquí
made it.
estoy.
Made it. See, my first time flying in first class, thanks to Alejandro Fernandez and his
Wow.
people.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
cool.
That was
All I
a
can think about is that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
that's how we were. Like, what's funny is like we even talked about it on the show. We were laughing so hard because we're like, nosotros nunca vamos a brillar en sociedad. Like, nunca vamos a brillar en sociedad. Porque haz de cuenta, llegamos, like, era Morris, Pancho y yo y mi jefe. Y Morris y yo, like, we were flying first class and we're like, I was like a little kid, like, do you want champagne? Yes. Give me 2. What else do you want? Can I get, like,
What
it
else
was
can I have?
What else can I have? Like, bueno, tal que durante ese tiempo también F1 was happening. So F1 en México
Damn.
es Día de los Muertos. So
Jesus.
México está
Shit.
súper bonito.
Yeah.
Y luego
Hermoso.
aparte de eso, Alejandro Fernández está ahí para hacer su like gira. Y luego, cállate, Luis Miguel estaba allí.
Oh, okay.
I
that
had-
hurt. That hurt all of us.
Hold on. I had front row tickets, or like I think second row tickets at the last minute to go to this concert to see Luis freaking Miguel, and he canceled. I was so bummed, but I was close to seeing Luis Miguel.
Ouch, again.
Yeah.
Like, these were like, what the fuck is going on with my
Yeah.
life right now? Like, literal, llegué y dije, no manches. Like, flying in first class, llegamos al hotel. I'm really trying so hard to remember what it's called. I'll get it later. Pero llegamos y haz de cuenta aquí es donde llega el momento de nunca vamos a brillar en sociedad, ¿verdad? Pues muchos de los F1, se me hace que Checo Pérez, según había escuchado que Checo Pérez se estaba quedando en el mismo hotel que nosotros. Pero no sé, yo creo que era alguien más. Se me hace que era el otro muchacho, el que salió con Shakira. I forgot what his name is.
Oh.
Piqué?
¿Ah?
No,
No,
that's
no,
a
no.
soccer player.
Yeah.
The racer. I forgot his name.
I know what he looks like, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Somebody was staying in that hotel because all of a sudden there's like all these people lined up waiting to like, and paparazzis to like take pictures. So we roll up and we're like, hey guys, come take like, but we're just kidding. We knew it wasn't for us. It was just like for some. So then,
Ay, ¿quién le dijo?
yo sé, he's out, él es famoso. Like just joking around. Ahí es donde viene toda la cura de todos, ¿no? Y haz de cuenta, de repente salió, like, let's remember, Pancho's from El Rancho. Like, you know, he doesn't really like the bougie stuff. Morris is a little bit more accustomed to it. I think I'm a little bit more, but I mean, not that noise.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the guy comes out. He's like, oh, señor, deja agarrar tu maleta. And he was like, no, ¿por qué me vas a agarrar mi maleta? Like, all paranoid about his freaking
¿Dónde
luggage.
te lo vas a llevar?
And then
They're
we're
like,
like,
a 5-star, 5 diamond.
it's
like
hotel.
24
It's like they have
seasons.
to. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a 5-star hotel. And I'm like, Pancho, deja que te lleven tu maleta. Ellos se lo tienen que llevar. Oh, okay. Entonces se lo dan, ¿no? Entonces cada quien agarró.
He follows him.
Yeah. We all got a suite. We all got a suite. So then all of a sudden, like, baja un señor, he's like, yo soy su mayordomo, or what is it called?
Mhm.
Mayordomo.
Mayordomo. And I was like, oh, Mariodom, mucho gusto. And they're like, pinche Zayda, no es Mariodom de.
Oh my god, that's great.
That's amazing.
I'm like, wait, what? Ahí viene la pocha, ¿no? Dice, es como
Mayordomo.
Mayordom. And I was like, Mariodom. The whole time.
Incredible.
So then I was like,
She's not from around these parts.
I was all trying to act sophisticated. No, I'm not. So hay uno que no quiere que. Por eso nos estábamos muriendo de la risa el siguiente día porque we're like, dude, you weren't letting the guy take your luggage. I'm over here calling it el Mariodom, the Mariodom, which is a butler, which I had no idea. All of a sudden, I have a butler, and he's like, sí, yo te puedo planchar. Y dije, wow, ¿planchar qué? Like, te puedo planchar 2 prendas. Cada día te puedo traer tu café gratis, like, lo que tú quieras. Dije, wow, ¿y cuándo nos casamos? Así bien acá tirando cura con él. Y una risa que traíamos todos porque era, pues, like, it was just like a first experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
And
different level of,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a doorbell rang, like, you would just call. I got, like, who knows how many teas, like, English, not English. I just ordered all sorts of teas, all sorts of
When
coffee.
you figured out that there's levels to this shit, you know?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I arrive and he's like, would you like some champagne? I was like, hell fucking yeah, I would like some champagne. Gracias, Mario. Gracias. Si quieres
Dile, don Mario.
Sí, y luego he's like, ¿gustas chocolates? Lo que sea. I was like,
Todo.
todo. And like
Ni
inside.
preguntes, nomás tráelo.
Sí.
Dude, I don't. This is gonna be like super far-fetched because it's a very small scene in
Yeah.
this movie. But I don't know if you remember this part in Home Alone when the uncle is sitting in first class and he's telling the hermosa and he's like telling him to fill up his champagne. He's like, "It's free, right?" And he's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Top me off."
That was me. Fill it.
Yeah.
Bring me the bottle. Cosas que pasan. Y luego otra cosa chistosa que nos pasó es de que en ese entonces sí tomaba. Morris pide una caguama y yo pido una michelada y Pancho pide un rompope. So the waitress comes over and gives me the rompope and I'm like, no.
No.
Señorita, ese no es mi trago. Yo pedí una michelada. Oh. She's like looking at everybody else. Yeah, we're like, that's for Pancho right there. And so then you get Morris una caguama, yo la michelada y Pancho un rompope. We're dying.
Todavía con el popote.
Okay, but that'd be like a situation
Yeah.
you'd be in.
Yeah.
That was so funny. We were cracking up. So those are the moments we've had when we traveled because it's like, it's.
You have to make light of those situations,
Yeah.
realistically. Yeah.
That was the experience so far. And then the next day we go into to see Alejandro Fernandez for the interview.
I forgot about that.
I know.
It's just so like,
Yeah.
It's only been 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like, how long has that happened?
They're just, Don Mario is like, "¿Dónde
We
está
haven't
Zayda?"
even checked in yet.
I know we haven't even checked. But this was Mexico City. We were just like, por eso siempre dijimos, güey, nunca vamos a brillar en sociedad. Nosotros tres estamos igual que los demás. Like, ay, no, una cura que traíamos.
It's like the first time I ever went to a really nice country club to go golf. I had never been to one. Like, yo me like my tees bien chafas, robadas de otros amigos. And like they had like free tees and pencils and markers and all this stuff. I like filled it up. I like filled
No,
up my
tú tampoco
pockets.
brillarías
No,
en la sociedad.
I was like, free? Fuck yeah. ¿Dónde está mi maleta? Don Mario.
Don Mario. Mario Don, ven para acá. Literal. So ya entramos a la entrevista con Alejandro
We
Fernández.
still haven't gotten there.
I know. Otra cosa. Todo lo que pasó es que ya por fin llegamos. Y haz de cuenta los muchachos, yo no estaba en esa entrevista, los muchachos le hicieron. Thank goodness, because I would have been hella nervous.
Mm.
Just so, I was already nervous, like I would have been extra nervous. Pero Maurice is a little thicker. This is not a bad thing. pero he likes to wear fajas. And he had a button shirt, right? So he sits down and haz de cuenta es dos sillas acá y luego este potrillo aquí. So he's sitting and I'm over here behind the cameras. And all of a sudden I just see like his shirt's like
Oh
No.
no.
like a little open, and I was like trying to like to like make signs to be like, you
En
know,
tu faja, güey.
like, or like I didn't know he had a faja, so I was like, porque dije, y se le va a enseñar como las lonjitas, no? And I was like, pues que se, you know, pero luego le digo, I was like, oh, traigo mi faja, and I'm like, and the shirt still did that, and then we zoomed in. No, and then le damos carrilla siempre porque hace cuenta le hicimos zoom. Dije, güey, ya casi se moría. Ibas a matar a Alejandro Fernández con el botón. Literal, ese botón ya estaba listo para deshacerse de tu camisa y luego nos iban a correr por tu culpa porque mataste a Alejandro Fernández con tu botón y
Y el de-
traías la faja.
Y aún sin la maleta.
Ya sé, una cura que traíamos porque es like Morris is like super chill and he doesn't care like it's pura cura como siempre. Y esa es la dinámica del show. Everything I'm telling you is exactly how the show is, and that's why I think people just vibe with it because like
Yeah.
literally he was
for
wearing
real.
his faja and yet the button still was about to like burst.
It did the opposite effect.
It did the opposite. And so we were cracking up so hard. And then it was a really cool experience because in there he had pictures of him and his dad of when he was young. Like they had it all set up. Like I even said hi, took a picture with Alejandro Fernandez, said hi to his people. And then after that day, the next day was when he presented himself at Plaza El Toro. And I got fucked up. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
I was at Plaza El Toro for the first time, flew in first class, bougie ass
Yeah,
hotel.
you were on cloud nine.
I was on cloud nine, like VIP access to like Alejandro Fernandez, like being where all these famous singers, Vicente Fernandez ha estado, like fue como like nostalgia of like you just had to be there, feel like everybody's, you know, when they say like it's those moments in life and when you're at a concert and you just feel everybody's energy
Sí.
Yeah.
and you just get like se te
Se te enchina
enchina
la
la
piel.
piel,
Sí.
enchina. It really was that moment for me, like ser mexicana, americana, papás inmigrantes que han logrado esto, llegar a ese punto de mi vida y vivirlo yo y estar así el día anterior hablando con Alejandro Fernández, Plaza El Toro, like it was just like I cried, you know,
Yeah.
I got
Qué
sentimental.
orgullo. Ujú.
Sí, era un orgullo súper grande y dije, wow, like esto sí, like es una experiencia that you just have to take in because you don't know if you'll have it ever again.
So it was just such a great feeling to like everything that excuse me, everything that you have gone through to lead up to that one moment. And like you said, there was just so much going on. It was this, I mean, I would have cried too. I think we all would have cried
Yeah.
to like have all of that balled into one. And then to take in effect all the things that happened to you guys. You know, todas las anécdotas, estar allí. Luego, like you said, F1, Dia de los Muertos, which is already such a huge celebration that is very sentimental,
Yeah.
you know, and embracing and like taking all that in, pues como no ibas a llorar? Like that's,
Sí.
you know, it would
Y
have been almost
echarte unas
impossible not to.
tequilas. Yeah.
Aparte. Yeah.
That's one of the perks that you sometimes get being in this industry. And then you get opportunities to talk about it. And it's just like, wow, you know, in the moment, it's like everything's surreal and you're just trying to live in that moment and keep things up. But yeah, it was definitely one of those moments where you're like, oh my God, I did that.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool. I was like, it was worth it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That is a really cool like life experience.
Bien chistosa también.
Yeah.
I know that was a good story.
That is a
Yeah,
good
that was
story.
good.
It was so funny.
It's really been an honor to have you here. Like I said, we really do try to push when we really try to push here in Vive con Huevos to like live authentically yourself and live your dream and try to do it regardless of the factors that are in your life. And you've been a true testament to that. Everything that you've gone through, everything that you sacrificed, and honestly, like I applaud you.
Thank you.
We try to give people their flowers here, and you 110% deserve them. and all the success that you've had up until now. Like, you've worked your ass off for it, and give yourself, like you said, give yourself a little bit of grace
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy those moments
Always.
a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. But
And cheers to many more.
por más anécdotas. Por más anécdotas.
Ay, siempre
Yeah.
hay. Eso es lo más divertido, yo creo, de todo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. If you think it's perfect, no, it's not. It's funnier.
Yeah. But before we start signing off,
Mm.
I do want to end the podcast with these two questions. Like always, when we have our special guest, Zayda, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice, at what age would you go back to, and what would you say?
I want to say my 20s. I think like mid to late 20s. I think those were the transitioning times of, and I think the advice I would just give myself is kind of what I already got my tattoo on me is give myself grace. Give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself and let life take its course. I feel like a lot of times we're so stuck by the schedule and rules of what we want and where we have our perspectives of where our life should be. And a lot of the times life is never like that. So I think that would mainly be it. Just give yourself grace, be patient with yourself. Don't give up, even as hard as it gets. That's why I say like remind yourself, but have people remind you of why you're doing this. And like if you fail, that's okay. Like you have to learn how to get back up again. And it's you you can just knock on so many doors because you don't know which door is going to really open and lead you to the right path that you need to be. So I think that would be it. And don't love on those cucarachos. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. You actually learn from those too, though.
You have to have those a little bit,
Always.
yeah.
You have to have them.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think that's something that's very, very true. Is like what you said is like, don't close mouths, don't get fed, and you knock on those doors. Sometimes I shoot my shot with people that like realistically they probably wouldn't come to Vive con Huevos right now, but like I'm still gonna send them that email, or I'm still gonna send them that DM because you never know who's gonna say yes.
Yeah, that's really what it is. You have to knock on some. You never know who's gonna say yes, and you'll be surprised by the person who does. And then when you do get to a position where you're at their level, you can always be like, "I reached out to you and you never responded."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they sometimes realize that too, and they're like, "Oh," because you never know.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
they say don't burn those bridges or like just be careful with what you say or do because you never know who you're gonna be bumping into.
Yeah. And then something to follow up what you
Yeah.
said in the beginning too is don't let these social timestamps dictate how you should feel and where you should be in life. Because I feel more oftentimes than not, we kind of get down on ourselves and we're like, shit, we're 30. We need to have a family. We need to be a lot more successful in a career.
Yeah.
But sometimes life drags on and we're not on the same timeline, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, like, for example, I feel like a lot of my friends right now are married and having children. I'm still not there yet. I think I'm finally at the moment where I'm like, my career's taking off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, realistically, it's not my time yet, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be my time. I think for the longest time, when I was younger, I was like, okay, I'm going to get married at 25, 26, have a baby by 28, 29. I'm 33 now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not even near any of that. But you know what? That's okay. I'm actually grateful because you wouldn't be where you're at if you would have done that before.
Yeah. And then lastly, if your story could teach people one thing, what would it be?
I think don't be afraid to be who you are. And sometimes we have to be reminded that, I'm Mexican American. I own the fact that I'm pocha. I'm not perfect. I've gotten way better, and I give myself props for that. But you know what? Don't try to hide who you are. You can always adapt and change and mold yourself to the person who you wish or you want to be, but don't forget who you used to be. And don't take yourself too seriously either. Sometimes theirs and like the goofiness of you is what makes you you.
Yeah.
So the mistakes or the quirkiness, use that to your advantage because that helps you out in the long run, and people remember more of you for that than for you trying to be perfect or trying to be like everybody else. I think that would be the biggest one.
People are gonna remember that you called them Don Mario and
Yeah.
and that you didn't let them in to
Don
water your orchid.
and
Yeah,
Mario dog.
yeah. No, 100%. And
Yeah.
Zayda, thank you so much for coming today. We've had this in the plans for almost about a year, actually. Because
Yeah.
I was looking back at the DMs when I originally asked you to come. It was, I think, around Coachella 2024.
Mhm.
So, like I said, guys, shoot your shot. You never know who's gonna come to your podcast. You never know who's gonna be in your network and gonna say yes. So,
Exactly.
Zayda, thank you so much for coming to the podcast today and spending time with us and your energy and giving people a little bit of a deeper look into your life. And realistically, I want to give you your flowers too for empowering women.
Thanks.
Yeah.
My nieces, a long time ago, I don't know about now, they wanted to do YouTube. And I think having women like you in the creative space, giving girls that kind of positive outlook and empowering girls to want to do better in such a male dominated space sometimes is amazing. And I'm glad my nieces have someone like you that they can look up to.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for having me. It's been super fun. And yeah, like, it's never too late to start content. I mean, it's like those reels that you always say, like, Oprah started what at a late age. Everybody starts at a late age. Like, there's never a perfect timing. Some do it faster than others, but you could do it at your 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s. Like, you just never know. And like, media is always changing.
Yeah.
It's going to change in a year. So, like, you can always do something, and it could just be one thing that makes you blow up.
Yeah, 100%. But guys, thank you so much. Zayda, appreciate you so much for being here today. Ladies, you guys have anything else? We good?
No,
Thank you.
that was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Y como siempre, live your best life, fight your fears. At the end of the day, the only thing that you regret are the things that you did not do. So vive con huevos, guys. We out of here. We love you. Peace.
Bye.